Hello, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to Thank You Internet.
A sincere love letter to everything that... Wait, hold on. David, this isn't a Wednesday. This is a Sunday.
It's not Wednesday?
It's not a Wednesday.
You mean I could have slept last night instead of editing this thing?
Right.
God dang it.
Well, David, what are we doing here?
Well, okay. My name's David Spencer.
And I'm Michael Hunter.
Basically what happened here. The reason that you're getting this episode, I'm very sorry. I know that you only want our episodes on Wednesdays, and you only want one episode a week. You don't want more content. You don't want us to talk to more people. But Michael here does not think about the fan base very much, and apparently he's just sending emails to everybody, and we had too many interviews. That's right. I know. I'm sorry that we have so much great content for you. I really am. But friggin' Michael, who's sending out emails to everybody, now we have to give you an extra special episode because we have too much content that we gotta release in one out of rotation because we just have so much content.
I'm sorry, you guys.
You should be sorry.
I'm so
Stop
sorry.
doing so good at your job. Stop it. This is the internet, okay? We are here to be terrible and lazy.
Why are you yelling at me? Okay, so we're talking with the Jackhammer Podcast.
That's right. The creators of the Jackhammer Podcast,
Jackhammer.
Charles Miller and Aaron Sprecher.
Yeah, they're cool guys, I guess, and I just wanted to email them, you know?
Okay. I am shocked that we were able to stay with that bit that long. But no, seriously, it's an amazing audio drama called Jackhammer, an American Hero. Go find it on iTunes. They just wrapped. They did I believe, a 8-episode season, and they just wrapped that up, and it's fantastic. Go listen to that podcast and listen to our interview. You know what? Because this is an extra special episode, we're not going to waste any more of your time. Let's just jump right into it. Alright, so here today we are with Charles W. Miller and Aaron Sprecher of Jackhammer, an American Hero. Charles, Aaron, how are you guys doing today?
Doing great. How are you?
Doing awesome. Thank you so much for coming on.
Yeah, thanks.
Yeah, of course.
Yeah, before we, as we're getting started, who are you guys and where would people know you from?
I'll take that one to start. My name is Aaron. I am from Philadelphia, moved to Los Angeles 4 years ago to pursue the dream of writing and doing all this other fun stuff.
Mm-hmm.
And people should know me from Jackhammer. Gotta say that.
and you must be living the LA dream of rolling in it from all of that podcast money.
Oh man, I am so thankful that I had the time to take this interview because I'm just going all around LA today in auditions and meeting famous producers and directors. So glad to be here, guys. Glad to be here.
We're thankful. We're thankful that you took time just to come on our small little podcast.
And so are both of you guys writers then, moved out here to pursue writing?
I moved out here to pursue writing, but Charles, I'll let him speak for what he's going to do.
Yeah, I came out here from south of Boston. I'm from Cohasset, Mass. It's a tiny, tiny, picturesque town. And then I came out here, same deal, chasing the dream. I like writing and directing, and the two of us, we've worked on a lot of web series. We produced a couple web series, True Stories from the Bible, which you can see on Funny or Die. And then we worked on a series called 86 as well, which is about actors and people working in restaurants to try and survive, before they can do what they actually want to do to survive. So
Awesome.
I feel like a lot of people can relate to that. I feel like a lot of people in this conversation can relate to that.
Oh yeah.
So what was your earliest memory of the internet, you guys? What was each of your earliest memory? Honestly,
I think mine goes back to going to the Dragon Ball Z chat rooms and trolling them with a good friend of mine when I was growing up. When you're a kid and you're bored, you're like, what do you want to do? And sometimes he would just look over and be like, you know what we haven't done in a while? Trolled the Dragon Ball Z chat rooms.
That's awesome.
For me, I just remember my family was like the latest to the internet game. So we had 56K dial-up when everyone else was getting cable. And I still remember we had an internet browser that wouldn't display pictures. So it would just say image whenever there was an image somewhere on the page. So we would try to look at all these like interesting things and see things and just be like 20 image, and then some boring text that was not formatted at all because we only had HTML or whatever it was back then. So I was very confused by the internet growing up. But now it's coming together for me.
It's like, use your imagination. The Christian Sunday morning like version of the internet.
That's awesome. So how did you guys meet then?
It was fate.
It was fate, and my college roommate went to high school with Aaron, and when I moved out here, I had nothing, no friends. And he told me
something's never changed.
Yes,
Charles.
this is true. He saw on Facebook. He was like, "Oh, this guy I know, Aaron, who I went to high school with. He's having a barbecue. You should go." So I showed up uninvited, and
he was invited. He was welcome.
Was I?
Yeah.
Okay.
No, he told me you were coming.
That's good. That helps. And then we just got to talking. I think he said something about hockey. I'm a huge hockey guy, being from Boston, so. That cemented it right then and there.
A true friendship.
It was born on that
hockey.
day.
Well, I mean, if you're coming from Philadelphia or Boston or those, like, what other sports are you going to talk about?
I know, right?
Exactly.
There you go.
I mean, all those championships, it's hard. There's so much to talk about. So many championship teams.
Yeah, it's hard for me to relate to that one, but I can only imagine. Use that great internet imagination that I built up as a kid.
So what made you want to start creating content on the internet then? Like, what was your muse?
The muse was how do we do anything? It's like, well, Fox hasn't hired me yet, so that's a bit of a problem. I spent the first month I was here just applying to jobs in the entertainment industry and, obviously hearing nothing back. So it comes down to, I think, the same conversation, a lot of people have had sitting around with their friends. It's like, well, let's make a video and put it on YouTube, that sort of thing. So we just started coming with ideas for stupid things that we could shoot because we have a little bit of equipment and just to get it out there and see who sees it.
Yeah.
Awesome. So then,
good, yeah.
Where did the idea of Jackhammer come from?
Jackhammer was built on our shared love of horrible 80s action movies. One of our favorite pastimes is to watch, Charles, what's that podcast you like watching?
How Did This Get Made?
Yes!
There you
yes.
go.
The greatest.
Yeah, so
that's our life.
Yeah, that's basically what we do. We didn't even know that podcast existed. That's basically just what we do. So we we started with the classics, with The Room. We went to a screening of The Room at UCLA. That was a great experience.
We got to meet Tommy Wiseau.
We played catch. I don't know if you've seen The Room.
Michael, whose signature do you have on your hat?
Well, I have two signatures on my Pokemon hat currently. One is Weird Al Yankovic, and the other is Tommy Wiseau.
You're in good company.
Yes.
Yeah, we went to one where Tommy was there, and the guy who plays, I can't remember his name, who plays his best friend is there.
Mark. Greg Sestero.
Hi, Mark. Yeah, we saw them, and we were chatting with Tommy, and we kind of pretended we were bigger deals than we were. He actually emailed us. He emailed us because he was like...
His business
his business manager emailed us. It was like, oh, we heard you talk to Tommy. You want to make some content? And we were like, I don't know what to do with Tommy Wiseau.
Let's not get a hold of ourselves.
His business manager writes in the same broken English that Tommy Wiseau speaks.
Yeah.
So it was a interesting coincidence.
I was about to say, like, I'm pretty sure, realistically...
Is Tommy Wiseau's business manager just like him with a mustache?
Well, have you seen The Neighbors, David? That's pretty much the entire...
We've only made it through one episode of The Neighbors.
Yeah, that actually tipped the scales for us. We couldn't watch the second one, but the first one was pretty magical.
Well, let me just say this. I went to another screening of The Room recently, and Tommy makes you watch the first episode of The Roommates. So
before you can watch The Room?
Yeah. That,
You're getting
and
so much for your money.
yeah, and also most of the cast that's in that show is helping selling merchandise. Like so,
Are they wearing out of place bikinis and things like that?
I wish they were all the dudes. It was none of the women.
So the dudes, they're all wearing out of place bikinis
Or Tommy
Of
Wiseau
course.
underwear. Either way. But yeah. Anyways, wow, that just went into a crazy
Just went on
room
a
tangent.
whole-
The Room deserves to be discussed. It is very much its own thing.
Mhm.
It's special, yeah, and it all comes from that because we love bad movies, and we've just been working our way through lists and finding our own.
Mhm.
I mean, any of the classics like The Room, Samurai Cop is another hot one.
Mhm.
We just watched a Japanese movie called Houseu, which is a weird blend of like all the characters are named like anime. It's a mess. All these movies, and it's just like the what Paul Scheer talks about on how this get made. And one day we had always said one day we'll write a bad movie. We need to write a bad movie one day.
Mhm.
And one night we cracked open a couple ciders, and Jack Hammer was born.
Mhm.
That's awesome. Now, for anybody who doesn't know what a jackhammer is, give a little bit, like, you've built it up of being this awesome, like, terrible B-movie plot. So what's going on in the story of Jackhammer?
B is pretty generous.
Jackhammer it's essentially an 80s action movie parody. The story is about after the Bay of Pigs invasion fails, JFK sends American hero Jack Hammer to assassinate his former sparring buddy, Fidel Castro. And along the way, they're going to fight, the Russians who are also in Cuba and a mysterious jungle group that's also bidding for Castro's affections, the Nazis.
Yeah, led by none other than Rudolf Hitler, of course.
Rudolf Hitler, the super secret long lost son of Adolf Hitler.
Which I love, like, all the ways you guys have just done weird rewrites of history, like, everything you do with how you portray JFK, or just, like, all the weird ways that you just, like, oh yeah, and this is something slightly and entirely different.
Right. Yeah.
it's
And
great.
none of the timelines line up at all either. We have Jose Canseco with Ricky Martin.
Yes,
being saved,
they're
and
slightly warped. We're creating the Jackhammer timeline, which, I mean, once you say it, it's established, but it's a maybe a parallel or alternate universe.
It's its own
that
world.
They live in.
It's its own world.
thing.
Yeah.
So what goes into that writing process then to warp history like that?
I mean, it really when we started, we sat down and we actually outlined the whole movie in one night, and then we wrote it in a month. It kind of just came out of nowhere. And it was just thinking, like, how can we make this more convoluted? How can we make this crazier? And also thinking about things that people care about and that history kind of holds with reverence. How can we crap all over those things? So, like, JFK is known as a notorious womanizer. And we were like, well, let's make him gay.
Mm-hmm. And then do a little bit of a Forrest Gump switch where we kind of rewrite history where we say, oh, he's gay. And the whole Marilyn Monroe thing was a cover up to make the nation not believe that he was such.
Yeah, there's a lot of facts mixed in,
Mhm.
and it's hard to kind of pull them out. It's one of our dreams that one day we might hear someone say something that they think is historically accurate, but is actually something that
They're like,
was false from Jack. Yeah.
they're like, yeah, well, spoiler alert for anybody who hasn't heard the show, but they'd be like, yeah, Fidel Castro was secretly French, right? Like, that's a thing, right?
Yeah.
Just look at his hat.
It
True
makes
story.
sense.
Yeah.
All the pieces are there. I mean, this is a true story. We just found the documents.
Are we geniuses?
Yes.
I don't know if
No,
that's going too far.
we didn't come up with any of this. These are all declassified. Oh, not even declassified. These are classified documents that we found.
So you're saying you guys don't deserve any writing credit whatsoever?
Well, we deserve investigatory credit.
Yeah, like
I
a
guess.
Snowden sort of thing.
Yeah.
We're bringing this to the public. I wouldn't use the word hero, but I mean,
So what is it that you enjoy about making stories like this? What is it that draws you to this style of humor?
Well, I can speak to that a little bit. When you go to the theater, when you go to the cinema, you see a lot of the same movies getting made over and over again. And what I really like about this is just how crazy it is, just how weird it is, and how different it is. And that really kind of busts me out of my little bubble of, oh, it needs like romantic comedy, or oh, it just needs to be the same garbage that you get fed all the time.
Everything seems to be very serious these days, and there's a lot of, and that's one reason I really enjoyed Kingsman is it didn't take itself so seriously. It was trying to just be a fun action movie, and like everything's life or death. Even Wet Hot American Summer is like life or death, and that's the new Netflix series. And it's just we just want to have fun with it because when you watch like those old movies, like anything Jean-Claude Van Damme, you can't take them seriously with a straight face. Oh, yeah. Like you have to look at them and laugh at them for what they are, and that's just what we wanted to capture was what we love about those, and just how insane and ridiculous they are, and how revelations come out of nowhere, how there's all these backstories that are just like referenced and then forgotten.
like in relationships that just go like, oh yeah, we sort of have a thing, and it's not.
Yeah, like, well, and that's one of the great things with Jackhammers. You guys have so many characters that are just popping in and out that like. Sometimes it gets a little hard to keep track of them all, of just like, but it's part of the wonderful thing about the show you guys are designing is like how just much crazy things and how many different elements will just appear out of nowhere.
That is something that we were I mean, this is like, it sounds like we're kind of backpedaling, but we did try to make it insane. So like a lot of things are supposed to come out of nowhere. I would say that 95% of what we did was intentional as far as ridiculousness. And like, and we tried to do a thing like when Commander Stewart and Rudolph have their final showdown, spoiler, they're kind of like, oh, remember the orphanage? It's like, because that stuff's just thrown out there in a lot of movies. And you're just like, wait, what? Are we supposed to know that?
Well, since there were so many people, or characters rather, like how was casting that then?
Casting was really fun actually. Charles, I guess you can speak. Charles,
yeah, we worked a former coworker of mine who's a voice actor, Kimmy Buser. She's also a producer on the show. She basically put out all of our breakdowns to her voice agency. So we had so many tapes sent to us for this because, I mean, working in the restaurant and knowing her and other actors, like everyone's an actor in LA, and there was a lot of auditions, and it was really fun to hear them and just hear this, seeing what you've written coming to life and everything like that. So it was a lot of fun hearing all the different takes on the characters.
So is it a situation where are there actors that voice multiple people, or is every character voiced by a unique specific person?
Oh no, we double up on a bunch of stuff. Like the guy who does Fidel Castro is a good friend of both of ours, and he also does Ricky Martin, and he also does...
He does Jose Canseco as well.
Canseco, yeah.
I think we had a total, not including us, of 7 actors, and then we split everything up as we're going through between those 7 people. So yeah, everyone is doing multiple parts, and you can hear our voices in there too. Aaron actually did Rudolph Hitler, as well as some Jewish army soldiers and various other parts.
And Charles did JFK and a lot of the screams.
Yes, become quite the accomplished screamer.
Well, and then also, you can't forget about your fantastic narrator. Like, this series probably has more use of narrators than almost any other audio series I've listened to, but that's because, like, there is so much action going on, and I just... props to what's the name of the guy who is the narrator?
His name is Matt Burke. He's a coworker of mine, and yeah, he's amazing. Because there is so much action, and it's how do you convey that in an exciting way? Because I mean, it's one thing to read the action, but we told him, we're like, read it like it's a 12-year-old reading their favorite action movie script, and he was just like, done. And she's like, yeah, his excitement is infectious, and he did such a good job with it.
Yeah, he puts so much energy into every single word. It's yeah, that's great.
And he really paints the picture,
it's especially impressive to us just because we had him in the booth for so long. Like, you'd expect some of that energy to go away, but he was just rocking 100% the entire time.
Now, you guys have a ton of sound effects. I mean, your opening theme is basically just every action sound effect put over music. And so much, like, really, really high production value, even higher than almost any other like audio drama podcast that I've heard. What's the production process like? Like, how long does it take to put this together, and how much work goes into each episode?
So our good friend over here, Charles W. Miller, did all of the sound effects. So he's kind of our sound designer. But let's backpedal a little bit to the beginning. We wrote this about a year ago, last July, but then we only started turning into a podcast about 6 months ago. So the process of deciding we wanted to make this a podcast to putting it all up on the iTunes store took about 6 months. And in that time, we had to find a studio. We recorded it in this great studio, House Music, with Mitchell Hauser. He does a great job, and he records a lot of musicians there too. But that's how we made it sound so good. Is we wanted to get really clean audio. We wanted to make it sound very professional. We had to find the space. We had to cast it. We had to rewrite it because it was written originally as a screenplay, and then we rewrote it to work better as a podcast. And then we had to record it. We had to make sure everyone's schedules lined up, and then we had to do post. We had to cut up the takes and then add sound effects.
I think we had what was it, 4 or 5 8-hour days in the studio. To get all the actors, and then one of the longest process was just picking takes because especially with Matt's performance, the narrator, he gives you so many options. But so we basically cut all the episodes together. So Aaron would edit the scene prints together of the dialogue, and then I would do the sound design, and then we worked with a great composer as well, Philip Eberhardt, who gave us all of our music. But we probably did about an episode a week. We were kind of editing week to week. We got the first episode done, and then we were going week to week as we were releasing them, as far as doing the sound design.
Awesome. And so the epilogue that at the time of this recording was just released yesterday, 2 days ago.
Yeah, on Monday.
That was, that's the end of everything that you have recorded for at least this first series.
That's the end of season 1.
Mm-hmm.
All right, season 1. So there's going to be a season 2.
So
there's going to be a season 2.
What's the future like for Jack Hammer?
Well, as Sprecher said, we wrote this originally as a feature screenplay, and kind of with the idea of having it as a trilogy because why not, right? So, but because Jack kind of hits his lowest moment at the end of the Cuba Crisis. So we're thinking we're probably gonna go back to some earlier Jack years. We're thinking World War II.
Nice.
We have an idea for a story called The Nine, which involves a mysterious group of German combatants who are trying to siphon money away from the American war effort. You may also note that 9 is the German word for no.
And you heard it here first, folks.
All right.
So there's going to be Nazis. Let's just get that out of the way.
Good. You can't...
Spoilers!
You can't make an awesome, terrible, but awesome action thing without a good amount of Nazis.
They have to be there.
It's about the German Socialist Party. We thought they were really underrepresented.
It's a political drama. Jack's he's going through the mainstream political routes this time. No covert ops, no action.
Yeah.
No, but the Nazis, they're the ultimate villain. You see a swastika, you know they're the bad guy. And they're so, just like you said, there's so much fodder for that in bad movies. Nazis at the center of the earth. Dead Snow about Nazi zombies. And
Iron Sky.
Yeah, Iron Sky.
Yeah.
And then, they're the best villains. Think about Indiana Jones movies. Mm-hmm. Which ones are the best? They're the ones with Nazis in them.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, of course. Honestly, that's kind of like the staple of every 80s action film. Is there has to be at least a reference to a Nazi somewhere.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And so, you guys talked about World War II. Are there other eras that you may want to tackle with these characters or with this kind of this insane alternate timeline that you've built up? Do you ever want to go into Vietnam or maybe modern wars or even go back to Revolutionary War or something like that?
The world is a buffet of options that we can go.
Every historical event that you can read one sentence or more of on Wikipedia is fair game as far as we're concerned.
But and is that something that you really want to do, is to see, well, what kind of crazy things can our characters do in Vietnam? Well, you guys already kind of set up a Vietnam story.
Sure, the epilogue kind of does deal a little bit with Vietnam.
Well, I hope there's more of that to come.
Definitely.
Oh, for sure.
Michael hasn't listened to the epilogue yet, so he's giving me a weird look.
I'm kind of
Let's just say JFK was not killed in the motorcade in Dallas, Texas. That's all you need to know.
Now I really have to listen to it. Oh, okay. All right. Well, okay, so you've created this entire world that is the Jack Hammer universe. Would you ever consider living in this actual world if you were given that chance by a crazy mad scientist?
God, no. I definitely would not. It's too insane. I mean,
we'd clearly be like one of the many people who just gets shot and forgotten about.
yeah. Like, let's be real. It's like everyone has their zombie apocalypse survival story, but let's be real. You're going to be one of the people that dies the initial outbreak. And I feel like it's that way with Jack Hammer, too.
Yeah.
It's like, as soon as Jack storms into Los Angeles, most of us are probably dead.
Yeah.
But who would you want to be?
Who do you want to be, Sprecher?
Okay, so I'm going to say something that might not be the most favorable option, but I'm going to say that I would want to be Jessica. I don't know if you remember Jessica. Not the biggest character in the show, but she does have the ability to get shot in the head and come back to life.
The power of prayer. She has that's her superpower is prayer.
She comes back to life from a pretty big injury. I'm going to pick Jessica.
I guess I would want to be Detroit. Jose,
I was just going to say that. I was like, I know my answer is Detroit.
That's a pretty sweet life he's got going on.
Mm-hmm.
That's great.
Awesome. So
what about you guys? Who do you want to be?
I mean, I would say Detroit. Like, you mean you get to be a friggin' tiger and you get to heal people.
Right? He has magical blood.
Yeah.
Honestly, come on, man. I'd have to be Jack Hammer if I had the choice.
A pretty good one to be too.
He's got the best odds.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure like everything, like just the one-liners, just everything. Oh, it's pretty easy to forget about Detroit.
And if finding out that your French is the worst existential crisis you ever have to go through,
I think you're gonna be okay.
You're gonna be okay.
Well, we thought, what's the worst thing that could happen to someone whose America is their entire being?
I am America.
Yeah, is that they're French? Well, Michael, all you have to do, Michael, is master Jack's catchphrase. Okay.
Okay.
That's his catchphrase. You did it. You nailed it.
Yes! All right.
I am Jack Hammer.
So in creating a project like this that is really ambitious, what are some of the biggest hurdles you faced?
Some of the biggest hurdles were some of the more business-sidey hurdles.
Yeah.
Was the creative stuff was really fun for us. The creative stuff kind of just happened. We got to dick around and make silly jokes and things. The business kind of stuff of like drawing up contracts and scheduling time and making sure the invoices were all correct. That was kind of and also just setting up the podcast.
Oh,
that was a lot more complicated. Like, kudos to you guys for setting up a podcast. That was a lot harder than I thought it would be.
Hosting, media hosting. And
you're like, wait, I can't just put it on iTunes and they'll put it out. I gotta deal with this and this and this.
Why would anything with Apple be that simple? We love Apple.
Yeah.
That was a hurdle. Mm-hmm. I mean, and it's hard. This wasn't hard necessarily, but I'm sure you guys experience this a bit too, being a duo, is that working with someone else on a big project is like being in a relationship. And
what do you mean by that, Charles?
And that's why this works, is because we have a great relationship. So, but like sometimes it is like having a significant other, Jack, if you can believe it, was more ridiculous than it was now. And it's a process to be like, well, should we do that? Can we do that? Should we do that? And kind of dialing some things back. So there's a lot of that going on. And just, I mean, obviously we work really well together because we work on everything together. But you know, it's a relationship. I'm sure. Can you guys attest to that a bit?
Oh, totally. I mean, honestly, it's kind of I would almost put it as a symbiotic relationship. David took care of a lot of the business standpoint with setting up the iTunes and all that, and then I just make the website look pretty, because with any duo content creators, like we both had to come up with the idea and agree on it at the exact same time. Like the first episode, we kind of go over our origin story of why we're doing this podcast, and it wouldn't work. One wouldn't work without the other. Like David is very technical, and he likes to be the one that talks to people, and get all up in that. But then I'm the one that also sends the emails out, and I'm the one that we both kind of make the boat float. And I feel like with you guys, I can definitely hear it just by how you guys joke around with each other. Like you guys do keep the boat afloat.
Well, you find that you kind of both fill different roles of the same vision type of thing.
Yeah, but we also split as far as creative responsibilities. We are very much on the same page. The writing process is we're both shooting ideas out. We're both at the computer typing. We're both writing on note cards. We basically share everything. And then there are a couple things where we kind of split off. I will give Sprecher all the credit for figuring out the hosting and all the podcast stuff. And then I do some of the graphic stuff. For our Instagram and all that sort of stuff. So yeah, but it's very equally shared. And it's a great relationship. You gotta find time to put the work aside. So we watch a lot of Jean-Claude Van Damme movies. We can relax. We can work and we can play.
And Charles makes a really nice set of cocktails too. He's a really great guy to be in a relationship with.
Benefit of working at a bar.
Yep, there you go.
So I'm just getting this picture in my head of the two of you just sitting down with a set of cocktails, just snuggling up on the couch with Jean-Claude Van Damme going.
That is a very, very accurate picture that you've just painted. Mm-hmm. Normally it's Tequila Monsters, which is a drink we invented.
Taking the nation by storm.
Yes, we're going to go ahead and unveil this exclusive recipe right here.
Perfect.
This is the ultimate drink for any bad movie. Just a few weeks ago, we watched Hard Target, an excellent Jean-Claude Van Damme movie where he's being hunted, which they don't tell you in the movie, but they tell you in the title. And here's what you do. You go to the store. You buy a Monster, all right? You take a glass, a Monster energy drink. You take a glass. You pour tequila in that glass, and then you fill the rest of the glass with Monster. That is a tequila Monster.
Mm-hmm.
All right. Mm-hmm. Today's episode of Thank You Internet brought to you by the Tequila Monster.
Yes. It brings you up, it puts you down, it does what you need it to do. It gives you the fuel you need to get through a
just
movie
like any bad movie, it brings you up and it puts you down. And
for sure.
For hours.
Sure. Yes.
For hours.
Oh, jeez.
That's awesome. So what's some of the biggest stuff that you've learned from doing a project like this, and what kind of things would you be able to give as advice to others who want to undertake something like this?
I would start with do your prep work, because the fun part is creating the content, but I got so frustrated when we sat down and we're trying to figure out this media is hosted. Why isn't it published? It's published. Why isn't it hosted? Where is this? Why can't I do this? Make sure you do your prep work. Prep work is very important.
And also patience.
Patience
is an important thing, because it's not the end of the world if something doesn't happen the way that you planned it. Plan B is a very important thing to always be able to deal with. Someone said it's not how you succeed, it's how you fail.
Yeah.
So it's
Rocky. It's not how hard you can hit.
It's how hard you can get hit and keep on going.
Yeah. Something like that.
But yeah, it was a big lesson in patience and kind of trying to figure out what Plan B is. If Plan A didn't work perfectly, and then how to kind of edit. Don't get married to your ideas. Be okay to kill your baby sometime.
Yeah, you can't treat your project like it's this immaculate conception. Any project is fluid, and you have to be ready for it to change or to become something that you didn't think it was going to be, or that it can be. And also, nothing costs $0.
Yeah, tell me about it.
Yeah, I mean, because let's be real, we would all say we're doing this for no money, but it does cost money. Mm-hmm. You have to be prepared for expenses like hosting, and if you need a web designer or recording or equipment, nothing costs $0. Even things that say they cost $0 do not cost $0.
Yeah, watch out for that asterisk next to whenever it says that.
So what is one of your just favorite stories from creating this? Whether it be something in the recording or just in the process of releasing it and starting to get a reaction, just what's one of your favorite stories from this whole process?
I just remember one of my favorite moments. It's something that's actually on our Facebook page that Charles recorded, was when we were recording spoilers, the sex fight in
Yes,
episode 1.
Kung Fu Sutra.
Kung Fu Sutra. And just like watching the actors acting out next to each other, having sex, but also fighting at the same time. It brought me back to Adam Sandler released an album like in the 90s, and it was called Working Out or Having Sex. And it like brought me back to that. I just thought that was so funny.
Yeah, I would have to echo that. Being in the booth with the actors was just an amazing experience. Everyone that we worked with, like, we can't give them enough props, especially as you mentioned, Matt Berg, the narrator, and the guy we have for Jack Hammer, Ted Evans, was just like brought this energy to the character into the room, and there was a lot of improvising going on. And one of my favorite moments for that is Jack's rallying speech towards the end when he starts to basically pull from famous movie quotes to try and rally the troops, and it kind of devolves from, Armageddon to Dirty Dancing. That was the last. I think that was the last session we had with the big group of actors, and it was the last thing we were doing that day, and we were like, Ted, go to town. And all the actors were in the booth, and we were just shouting out lines for him to say, and he was just screaming them as Jack Hammer. And my favorite one is, it's at like I think it's at the very end of like the 4th or 5th episode. It's an outtake, but he just quotes that really weird rap song where he just goes, "My neck, my back, like my pussy and my crack." And I was like, what?
So wait, is there like any improv in there? I know you said you were kind of just throwing stuff at him at the last second. Is there a lot of improv to a lot of the stuff you do? It seems like a lot of it would be really scripted.
Yeah, there's a lot of great improv lines, and you'd never know because the actors just fit them in. We like to have the actors in the booth at the same time with each other, so we could go through the whole scene and they could work off of each other's energy. So there's a bunch of lines actually that we're just trying to think of which ones.
Yeah, there's we obviously, like with anything, we got the scripted lines, but Ted and Kimmy, Jack and Jessica and Sensei Tammy, they did a lot of stuff during the sex fight as well. So I think when Jack says at the end, he goes, "Let me get you a towel," and we're just like, "Oh, we didn't write that. That works though." And then do you guys curse on this thing, or should I censor myself?
You just said lick my neck, my back.
Well, and then when the sex chamber is kicked open, Jack just goes, "What the fuck?" And we're like, it was out of nowhere. We were just like, "What?" It just makes, like, those things just make us laugh. There's
Jordan's line of I was moonlighting as Hugh Jackman's stunt.
Oh yeah, his former partner Richard, the Australian guy, is like, "It all started back when I was moonlighting as Hugh Jackman's stunt double. That came out of nowhere." Like, I'm struggling to think of more specific examples now, but there was a lot of it.
He didn't even have a weapon, not even a knife.
Oh,
That was something Charles came up with. Yeah. Sometimes if the spirit caught us, we would just yell a line into the microphone and have them say it. Sometimes
there's a lot of line tweaks that went on too. Like when Rudolph is talking about when he says he's going to take care of the Jewish army, spoiler, the Jewish army, he's like, we originally had it written as like, "Oh, I'm going to deal with them." And then one of the actors was like, "What if he says he has a final solution?" and then we toned that down to special solution. So
it's a give and take.
It's a give and take.
There you go. Well, okay, so you talked about Jack Hammer's future a little bit, so season 2, it's happening. But what about your guys' future? Besides Jack Hammer, where do you guys want to go as content creators?
How dare you ask me that question? That is a tough one.
Yeah, what's your guys' futures, man? What's with all the questions all the time?
What is this, 20 questions or something?
Yeah. Currently, I work at a bar, as I mentioned, and the plan is I'm always writing and and the two of us are trying to produce as much content as possible to just get it out there as much as possible. I mean, the original reason we did Jack Hammer is because, as Sprecher mentioned, we wrote it as a feature screenplay, and we were like, this is great. How do we get it out there? I mean, who wants to read a feature script? How can we get this out there in a finished form? And we're like, well, could we shoot a short? No, because we don't have the means to punch someone's arm off. Like, how do we get it out there? So we came up with the idea to do a podcast. So for us, I mean, specific to Jack, we're hoping that Jack can be heard and picked up either as an animated series or as a feature film. And then personally, I'm the playing the game that everyone in the restaurant industry is trying to play. It's getting out of the restaurant industry and into the creative world. Writing. My ultimate goal is to write and direct. So.
For anybody who's not in LA, that's like the entire restaurant industry is people trying to get into the entertainment industry.
Yeah. Luckily, it's mostly actors, so I can at least be like, well, I'm not an actor. Yeah.
That's always good.
Yeah, and I'm not as interested in directing, but I would love to write and produce. So
and Sprecher's currently on the better track. He does work in the industry.
Right. So I'm working in post-production right now in TV.
Okay.
And I've learned a bunch from that. I've gotten to work a couple different angles in the industry to see kind of how all in TV for the past 4 years, to see how a TV show is developed, pitched, sold, and then actually filmed and edited together and delivered. So I've been very fortunate in that respect.
Awesome. Is creating internet content something that you guys want to keep doing? Is something that means something to you?
It does, yeah. I can't really explain it, and I feel like a lot of people in this industry wouldn't really be able to explain it completely.
I feel like for a lot of people, it's a stepping stone. It's kind of like a first step. But the world that we're in now, it's part of what you do forever. I mean, especially with, as we mentioned a million times today, thanks for the promo there, Paul Scheer. How did this get made? Like, he's a successful actor and writer, and he's also doing podcasting. He's also doing sketches. I think it's just part of people's lives these days. And like with a lot of sketch comedy, you see bigger and bigger people maintaining that sort of, presence online. So, I mean, I think for me, it started as a stepping stone to try and get to the next level, but I think it'll always be there in some regard.
Well, I think a lot of people have a desire to create. I mean, in any respect, whether it's acting or directing or woodworking or any other kind of thing. Like it's just a desire masonry,
chefing,
chefery,
cooking,
chefing. That is, I believe, that is the technical word for it.
The chef's arts.
The verb to chef.
Yes.
Yeah. So I think a lot of bigger names, like Charles was saying, are coming back to online stuff because it really puts you in the driver's seat and lets you create, and lets you do what you want to do, which is what you guys are doing too, must be pretty fun for you guys.
Yeah.
It's horrible. Absolutely.
It allows you to control your own content. There was an interview with Jason Segel where I think Judd Apatow was like, listen, you're weird. The only way you're going to get to do stuff that expresses your weird voice is if you do it yourself. And that's kind of the moral of the story. It's like, if you want to make something, make it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And if you want to be, use yourself a certain way and create a certain type of thing, then you create it yourself. If you wait for somebody to come along and ask you to do your weird specific thing, that's probably not going to happen.
No.
Yeah.
No.
If you want to direct. If you want to write. Obviously, it's not that simple, but the power in this day and age, the power's in your hands.
Yeah. Well, and I mean, exactly like what you guys were doing with Jack Hammer. It's just like, hey, we want to write, we want to create stories, we want to put it out there. We don't have a way to film a big budget movie, so we'll make an audio program, and a really awesome one at that.
Well, thank you. That's very nice of you.
Yeah, of course. All right, you guys. So I think it's that time of the show where we ask you guys what your YouTube pick of the week. Every week we have a guest come on the show. We ask them what favorite video they've seen, or just a random video that they've seen that tickled their fancy. So what about you guys?
Well, the two of us actually have a bit of a guilty pleasure there. We are big fans of people hurting themselves. So fail videos are a guilty pleasure that we have, where when we have 10 minutes to kill, it's like, well, let's just go watch, some people crash stuff, or, try and jump over this gap and hurt themselves.
Never jump over a gap. If you ever have the option in your life to jump over a gap,
just don't do it.
Especially if there's a camera on you.
Yeah.
And I'm sure you guys are in the minority on those tastes. Like, there's not a lot of people who like to watch people fall down.
Yeah, it's not like Fail Army has 7 million subscribers or anything like that. But so we do a lot of that. And I mean, for me recently, I cannot stop watching the Star Wars Battlefront trailers. I cannot wait for that game.
Oh, I already pre-ordered it, deluxe edition, PS4.
Yeah, I'm on the same boat. I just got myself a PS4. It's my birthday this month. It was my self gift, and I just can't wait. Yeah. So they released the Fighter Squadron trailer the other day. Already watched it like 6 times. It's just happening.
Yep. Oh no, trust me, man. You and I, You and I, like that, like it was after this E3. Like my girlfriend and I were like, you know what, we're gonna take our relationship to the next step. We're getting a PS4. I'm like, all right. So we got that. We got the whole Batman Arkham Knight bundle, and we're so stoked for this fall.
Is that when you really know you're committed, when you co-own a game system?
Yes, that's
a big step.
We're both paying for it, David.
Yeah, especially with a single player game, David. All right, they got to trade off. There's story elements that they have to experience together. That's a commitment.
Yeah, she's playing Dragon Age Inquisition now, David. Like it's a give and take.
You have to make choices together.
Lego Jurassic World's the only game we can play together, David.
I got my girlfriend Minecraft. Does that count?
Shut up, David.
Hey, Battlefront's got those co-op missions, all right? Local multiplayer.
Yeah, there you go. There you go.
I already bought a second controller for Sprecher, so we're in the same boat there.
Yeah, have you guys co-financed a game system together yet? Are you guys at that point in your relationship?
I don't like to label what we are. So I think that we haven't made our way there yet.
He's a leech, let's be real. He's a user. I provide those sort of things.
I'm the trophy partner. I don't know what you'd call that. Yeah.
I just dress him up for parties and events like this. Yeah. Like, we're in full tuxedos right now. I don't know if you know that, but...
The joy of audio.
Yes. What was yours, Sprecher? What's your YouTube pick?
My YouTube? My friend kind of turned me on to kids having horrifying revelations. There's these two videos where this kid is like sitting in his high chair and he's playing with this like reindeer toy that his mom got him, and he keeps poking in the head, and eventually the head just pops off. And the kid, it's like seeing your best friend's head just come off, and you have no idea that that's something that could happen. And seeing the kid have like this horrifying reaction that's definitely going to scar him for the rest of his life.
Oh,
no. You're sick.
I know. I took the fail videos and I heightened it. I went to the next level.
You went to the stuff
but they're just really fun. It sounds horrifying.
Kid fails are pretty funny, though.
It's really funny. Yeah,
they're
like
so top heavy.
Kids eating lemons, that's really funny.
Yes.
Anything with kids, I think it's funny.
You basically went from fail videos to like something that wins the actual award on the America's Funniest Home Videos. Like like you went from like oh yeah, this is like the compilation to like this is what we love. Look at him. Look how sad he is.
You're gonna have to send me a link to that video because that sounds pretty wonderful.
I will do that for you.
Kids are so top heavy. Their heads are so big that they just go down so easy.
The kid's head is gonna fall off eventually. Wait, is that what we're talking about?
No. If we're talking about if you're ever in a fight with a small kid, now that they're top, you can push them down real easy.
Look, we love. I'm just gonna go on the record and say that Jack Hammer does not endorse hurting kids, except in the first scene when the American soldier kicks the kid.
That wasn't Jack Hammer.
That was not Jack.
That was an American soldier.
But we do not endorse that at all.
All right, you heard it here. So if anybody writes them angry letters, know that they did say it.
They that Charles and Aaron said that they do not endorse the actions of American soldiers. They do not endorse the American soldier.
Let's not go crazy here. I support the troops. My brother is a Marine. He fought for us to be here talking about stupid videos on the internet.
There you go.
And talking about your totally accurate representation of the American military.
Of course. I don't think he's heard it. I did it to him. We'll see.
Thank you, Jack Hammer. I mean, thank you, Internet.
All right, Aaron, Charles, you guys are awesome. Where can people find more of what you have going on?
You can hit us at jackhammerpodcast@gmail.com if you want to send us hate mail. Or the Instagram's Jackhammer Podcast. The Facebook is facebook.com/jackhammerpodcast. The Twitter is jackhammerpod.
And you can go to our website, which is just jackhammerpodcast.com.
Under construction. Mm-hmm. Also, what's your website? Ridiculous.com. And we're on Funny or Die as well with true stories from the Bible. You can look up the web series 86th. Yeah.
And if you haven't done it yet, go listen to Jack Hammer, An American Hero.
Please do. It's on iTunes. It's on Stitcher.
Yeah, we're all over the place.
Boom.
All right. Well, thanks again, guys.
Yeah, thanks for
thank
having
you
us
very
on your
much.
show.
We appreciate it. A lot of fun.
Absolutely.
We'll be back for season 2. Exclusive.
Yeah, there we go.
All right. Thank you so much, Charles and Aaron. You guys are hilarious. And it was, that's our first time talking to multiple people at once.
Yeah, that was pretty cool.
Like, that was a 4-way instead of our usual 3-way.
Yeah,
But it was cool to be able to share, like, I feel like, how just, like, married couples have to go hang out with other married couples? Like, that's what we just did right there. We were a married couple who just hung out with another married couple.
I do not feel comfortable.
Usually we're hanging out with our single friends, but, sometimes it's good when you're in a marriage to hang out with your other married couples.
I'm not your husband, David.
No, you're my wife. No.
No. Oh, God.
Michael, stop disappointing the audience.
I'm sorry.
Okay, this is getting really dark really fast.
Okay.
Back away.
Backing up. My daddy taught me good. All right, so go watch the Jackhammer podcast. There are 8 episodes, and honestly, you're gonna have a blast with every single one. So just, especially since we kind of spoiled a lot of it for you.
Yeah, we kind of did. If you haven't listened to the podcast and you just listened to our interview, I'm really sorry.
We should have prefaced that.
I think we kind of did. There were moments, right?
Yeah, I think so. Whatever. I mean, it's.
I'm sorry.
We'll be better with that in the future.
Just
you
go
guys.
listen to it.
So enjoy this spontaneous new episode, and then stay tuned on September 2nd for another episode.
Actually, the day we've released this episode, we should have our new banner up on our website with our next release schedule.
Yeah.
Our next 3 episodes, which are all 3 I am super, super, super excited about.
Yup.
Not in order, but we've got Vinny K.
Mm-hmm.
We've got, Vincent K.
Yeah, Vincent
And
K.
then we also have James Oster.
Mm-hmm.
And then, of course, Jason Steele of Film Cow.
Woo!
The creator of Charlie the Unicorn is going to be on our podcast. I am excited.
So freaking excited, because I'm so messed up,
Yeah, and we talked to Vincent from YouTube Explained, who is awesome, and James Oster from JoeBlow.com, who is awesome, and yeah.
So yeah,
awesome
just keep
things are happening.
Keep it up, you guys. Just keep up with us, because we're going places.
We should probably do some YouTube picks.
Oh yes. David, do you want to go first?
I'll go first this week.
All right.
I'm gonna go with something pretty simple here. It's called How to Face Your Fears. 2 as the number 2. By the YouTube channel We Teach You How To. Honestly, just do a search for that. You'll probably find it. It's 7 seconds long. It's comedy gold. I absolutely love it. Go watch that.
Yeah, there you go. And mine, honestly, I mean, saying the name is just going to give it away, but here I go. Mortal Kombat Shawarma Master. It is a Latino man, making shawarma like a boss while like to the beat of Mortal Kombat. And this isn't like later in post they put the music on. No. He's like making it like but like he's going like it flipping insane. And then there's a machete that comes out of nowhere, like a flipping machete. Like what? Why do you need a machete for shawarma, David? So yeah, just watch it. It's about a minute long. It's a little over a minute long actually, but just watch it. It's also comedy gold.
Check that out. Unfortunately, we don't have a listener YouTube pick of the week because we don't. Michael, where can people find you if they like you?
Well, if they like me, then they should already know. No, I'm kidding. If they like me, go to my Twitter at Arctic_Ginger. You can also find me on Instagram, Michael William Hunter. If you Google me, Google Michael William Hunter, you'll find my Facebook, you'll find my Instagram, you'll find my IMDb, you'll find everything. And what about you, David?
I am at David W. Spencer. And, okay, I'm going to get through this because we got a lot. Twitter, at TYInternetPod. Facebook, facebook.com/TYInternetPod. Email us, thanksinternetpodcast.com. Send us your stuff. We love you. Subscribe to us on iTunes. Rate us. Review us. It's awesome. It helps us get new listeners. Our music is Status Speech by Silent Partner from the YouTube audio library. Our logo is drawn by Ethan Howe of 8th Hour Designs. Facebook.com/The 8th Hour. Our website, as always, is pipedreampodcast.com. Go there to find old episodes, find future release schedules, find all sorts of cool stuff. We have so much happening. Go check that out. And I'm going to be at the Podfest. Boom. I got it.
Wow, I'm actually impressed, David. You know,
you want to know something, Michael?
What?
He's nuts! Yup!
It's a 7. It's technically a 6 episode.
The what?
6 episodes.
6 episodes. You want me to do that again?
Well, just like the word 7.
7?
Yeah.
I thought it was 6.
Well, it is. Plus
Is it
the epilogue.
6
plus the epilogue.
or 7?
It's 7.
7?
Plus, including the
7
epilogue.
plus an epilogue, so that's
No,
8.
No, that's 6 plus.
No. But you said there was 7
I'm
plus
saying-
an epilogue.
No, I'm saying with adding the.
So with the epilogue, there's 6 episodes. So there's 5 regular episodes? You're not making any sense here, Michael.
Okay, there are 6
Okay.
episodes and an epilogue.
6 episodes and an epilogue.
Yeah.
Isn't there an intro log of like a special preview?
Yes.
Yeah, that's 8 episodes.
Okay.
Bitch!
Damn it! We.
Oh, sorry. Cat noises.
Is that a cat or a child? Oh.
All right. Sorry about that.
Yeah.
Holding for cat.
Holding for cat.
All right.